What is up, everybody out there on YouTube land? Welcome to YouTube. I already screwed up.
Welcome to YouTube, indeed.
With myself, Tech, and SIKSLAYER, the sickest of them all. And today has been a nutty day for PlayStation fans. And, they're happy about this because, any news about PlayStation is happy news for the PlayStation fan base. Wow. So we never seen this before, like you stated to me earlier before we went live, that we never seen a console get a price increase ever.
Is
that right?
Ever.
Like after they launched after whatever number of months it has been.
An official increase of price to whatever the MSRP. Once it drops,
yes,
it never goes back up. That's never happened before.
Yeah, that's never happened before. Well, we saw it with Oculus, like you stated earlier today. But but that's Oculus. That's
still different, not just because it's VR, but because they had increased the capacity you got for the same price.
Yes.
So anybody who bought one after that point, was getting more than was originally offered for the same price. So when they increased it later, if you notice the amount they increased it to made up for that, like it was like whatever the increase of capacity was, it was just enough to account for that and no more. Right. So a lot of people can still bring that up as a point. That's the closest thing that's ever happened, but otherwise no. Console, nope.
Yeah, that's nuts to see a console. I've never seen that myself either. It's more where a new model comes up, like a mid-fresh comes out at the same price, and then the current version gets reduced by $50 to $100.
Nintendo does that with the OLED.
Right. So that's the usual what we see in the gaming industry, but never okay, 2 years in, let's go ahead and increase it because reasons.
Yeah.
And that's nuts. And I don't know. So I see mixed reactions from both Sony fans, from the Sony fans, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're defending and saying, I don't care. It's like, really? It's like first it's about the $10 tax on the games, and now it's an increase of the console. And of course, people are making extremes like you're gonna put food on your table, or you're gonna buy a console, and if you can't afford both, and you don't need to be in the gaming hobby, or so it's always some stupid excuse to kind of fight back.
Particularly these PlayStation fanboys when they talk about they would pay $800 and all these other claims they've made. All right, well, Sony took y'all a tax, so then hop up on that horse then. Ride that out. That's what y'all said.
But what other people have been bringing up, and you told me before we went live to bring this up, and let me bring it up on the screen right now.
Yeah,
they've been making a profit for a good while, even at $4.99.
Yep.
So, and in previous generations, they've taken a loss, which never been an issue, right? Because they know sell the hardware, make money off peripherals and games, the software.
The classic razor blades model.
Right.
It's older than any of us put together.
Right. So you go by that model, it's never been an issue. And now it's an issue this generation somehow. I just don't get it.
Especially after all the profits, that they said they were
making.
Right.
They're making all these profits, record-breaking profits. I always hear it all the time. It's just like it's
brag about it all day. Yep.
Every quarter is a record-breaking profit. So making all these profits, and it's like you can't really take a loss from here on, say a few months from now, or maybe even a year, or maybe it's just the rest of the generation that, just keep it at $4.99 and keep taking a loss like you were in previous generations. Why is it different now? Why can't you just take the loss and make a profit like it was as always on software and peripherals? And now
it's not enough for them. All that money they spend on all these, forced exclusives to keep software out of Xbox and other just mainly Xbox hands. Had they invested that money in themselves instead, maybe they wouldn't be in this issue right now. Maybe they wouldn't be having this problem right now.
Well, not only that, but they also spend money for the exclusive blocks and everything that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't wasting their money on that stuff just because they want to cock block everybody else,
Yep.
then they probably wouldn't be in this position, and they wouldn't be in a position of increasing the console also. And so now you just took an extra $50 to $100 away from a buyer, a potential buyer.
Yep.
Because he could have been like, okay, or he or she could have been like, oh, it's like, I want the PS5. I'll go ahead and get it. I see it in stock. All right. Oh, I was going to use that extra $50 for a game. Well, now you can't. Now it all goes towards the system itself, and that's not even including the tax. Whatever tax in their country or state,
the tax will be even higher.
The tax is even higher. So it's not only just the sticker price, but then you got to consider the tax. So now you're talking about an extra, I don't know, 150.
Depends on how much it is. Depends on your area. Look at Australia, which already had a high tax on games. It's notorious out there in Australia that games cost a lot of money. I've heard this from many gamers who live over there. It's a tax. The MSRP is already a higher cost, right?
Yeah.
Because of all the
who'll be awesome to speak on this in Australia. Well, no, she's in New Zealand, right? I was gonna say Red Panda.
Oh, but I think that's the same situation. I think this situation is the same. Okay. I think.
Okay.
Because
she would have been awesome to talk about that if she was available. But yeah, I mean, I've heard all the taxes and all the fees and the tariffs and whatever else comes with it. That that $500 that we pay here turns out to be almost $800 over there.
Yeah, man. So
it's nuts.
In Australia, I know a couple of gamers were saying that's adding a $50 to the price. That's already overinflated. So I don't know what that adds up to before taxes already, but that's already $50 to the price. And of course, you got these taxes. So of course, the taxes are going to be even higher on top of that because the higher the price of your item, the higher the tax. It's simple percentage. Everybody knows this. So it's just like, bro, this
and
is
they had to make a
thing
company blog post to state these this increase, not just news outlets.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Poe here as always, and that's good. Thank you for coming. But it's Sony. They deserve it for luxury. You pay for Apple price increases, don't you?
No, I don't. I was having an argument with my friend about Apple all the time. Like, I'm not down with Apple stuff, man. When they do that shenanigans, they're the OG when it comes to all this stuff.
Yeah.
Not having the charger in the box, not having the cable. Even if you were to get a charger, it's lesser capacity than the full ability of the device to charge. They have a higher tier one.
You get the bare minimum.
Yeah, all types of shenanigans when it comes to Apple. So no, I don't pay for that. I don't co-sign when Apple do that stuff. I am very militant about not being cool with what Apple does. So no, I do not.
We know you're sarcastic, Poe. We know.
Yeah, I know you're sarcastic, but yeah, man. It just goes to show a lot of people do believe what he's joking about.
Yeah, you're right. There are people that believe that have that mindset.
Yeah, I've heard there's spaces doing a similar mindset where people like, well, I live in America or I already have my PlayStation, I don't care. That's one of the most selfish things.
That's great for you. Yeah, it's such
what happens when your PlayStation breaks?
Yeah.
Repairs are going to cost more now. I don't really see how anybody could say this stuff with a straight face and actually believe it. But then it just goes to show the one person I heard in the space that I heard this morning, he sounded so young, like late teens, early 20s, maybe 21 at the most, right?
Yeah.
He sounded like a child. His vernacular, all of it was just like immature thinking right there and speaking. So, man, I don't know. The mindset is just obvious. This is just a bad move. It's going to look bad for Sony. I don't know what their impetus was, if they felt they needed to, or if they just thought, I'm lying. I'm trying to be objective here, but the obvious
arrogance.
They can make more money. It's arrogance. That's what it is.
And then of course they're going to use the excuse like everybody else is. Inflation, electronic supplies, parts, they're all missing. We don't have enough. The demand is there, but we don't have the parts to create them or manufacture them. Blah 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 blah. We heard,
and none of that is so accurately true. I mean, it's not false either, but we're in a way better position
than we were 2 years ago.
Than we were when this first started. So no, that doesn't work either. like that excuse doesn't work either.
And then some people were going to say, well, we were 2 years down. It's going to take another 2 or 3 years to get back where we were before.
No, man, because we kind of recover. These consoles are on the shelves now.
Yeah,
like it's not hard to find a PlayStation. You had a PS5 you were trying to sell. You couldn't sell it to save your life.
Yeah, I couldn't sell it.
You couldn't sell it to save your life. Yeah. Like the demand isn't there. Like
I get clowned because I was. I don't know if you remember. I always said that I'm not going to get a PlayStation 5 because I just have no interest in it.
Right.
Because it's just my PlayStation 4 is good enough.
Yeah.
And I bought that first one at launch and was able to get rid of it really quick. We talked about it plenty of times. That the first one I sold in a matter of hours. And then I was able to score the second one, right? Just because of the whole direct thing with Sony. I was like, okay, cool. I'll sell this one. And I was still reasonable priced, here locally, but nobody was really biting. Everybody was trying to lowball me. And I'm like, you're not going to get a sticker price. That's what I kept telling them. It's like, if you want to pay, you're going to pay premium price, and it was lower than everybody else that was offering it here locally.
Oh,
and people were still weren't biting. And I'm like, all right. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put up my PlayStation 4 Pro with some peripheral, some little add-ons. It wasn't much either. I'm talking about like, add-ons because I didn't have any games.
Right.
And dude, I can't.
It didn't have a packing game or nothing? Like Horizon? Oh, because you bought it straight from Sony. You didn't have to get that, right? It's only really the retailers doing that.
Yeah.
From Sony. But if you buy directly from Sony, you don't have it.
So I told myself at the time, it's like, okay, my PlayStation 5 has been on sale on 5 different sites and nobody's biting. I'm gonna go ahead and pack up and bundle up my PlayStation 4 Pro and see what it does. And whoever sells first, I'll keep the other one.
And I was mad that you didn't tell me because I was pretty mad about that for a little while. But in hindsight, I was like, it was probably the best thing. But I probably would have bought it if you told me immediately. I probably would have bought it. Like that just goes to show that the PS4 Pro was more interesting to people than a brand new PS5.
And this is not a lie. This is not a knock on PlayStation 5 or anything for the demand or whatever so-called demand there is for it.
No.
But I posted that PlayStation 4 Pro with its peripheral or the little add-ons that I had.
Really happy
that afternoon. It was just on the fly. I was like, I'm going to do it. I posted, and then a matter of 4 or 5 hours, it's sold.
What's up, E-Rock X? What's going on, homie?
It's sold in 4 or 5 hours. And the guy's like, how long have you had it? I've had that thing ever since since the Pro release.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even know when that released. I just told the guy 5 years. So I had it for 5 years because I really didn't know.
Wow.
And it's sold. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm keeping the PlayStation 5 and I'll just, keep the cash that I get because that just pays towards the cost of the PlayStation 5. So that's how I got my PlayStation 5.
Cool. Another point about this PlayStation, we were talking about the profits that they were making. Another point was when I think it was Austin Evans who was the first to find out about this and to get a system that had this and then break it down, take it apart to see the difference.
Yeah, he's awesome.
About the copper.
Yeah.
The heat sink where
that big old L that's shaped like an L for an L.
Yeah. Yeah. So they, copper's expensive. So, they've been nickel and diming and trying to find ways to end run around this for a long time. I seriously think that Sony was, or at least particularly the PlayStation division, it's not making enough money for them. As we already know and discussed many times that these PlayStation gamers aren't buying the amounts of games that they claim.
It's been proven time and time.
That's right. That's first and foremost. But clearly because of this, they're not making enough what I feel like is enough of a profit. And so now they got to nickel and dime in every way they can. So this isn't even a new thing for Sony. This is just another piece of that puzzle. They've had this mindset for years because their audience has had this mindset for years. They talk all that talk, but they never walk the walk. They don't buy the games at $70. They do the same thing everybody said they did.
Yeah.
FIFA, Madden, Call of Duty, Minecraft, the same old, that the casuals buying. And this is another aspect of this. Now the casuals, I mean, we're seeing it in Japan, they're talking about, Final Fantasy 16, which is always going to be popular over there. But now they're worried, Are they going to be able to get one? Should they switch to the Xbox? You know, the Xbox is a lot more prevalent.
Well, I posted this earlier today. So hold your thought. Sorry to kind of interject, but this alone is increasing the value and the appeal of the Series S now plus Game Pass.
Yes, yeah,
a lot more now
worldwide. People are tweeting about this worldwide, in particular in Japan. You know, like I said, with the Final Fantasy 16 situation, but not just there. I had a friend on Sunday. You know, I rent my guest house, but a previous tenant of mine.
Oh, look at you!
About a month ago. Yeah.
Businessman.
Yeah, I have a guest house, so I rent it out.
Mansion. He got a guest house.
So his he came by about a month ago. You know, he had to grab some stuff he had in my garage and my shed from when he moved out, and his son was, you know, somebody I saw all the time. Hey, what's up, KTJ Gaming?
Yeah, KT, man.
Oh yeah, man. That's the loyal homie right there. He's always, you know, watching the show. What's up, homie? So his son had come by over the weekend to talk to me about a couple of things, and you know, he knows I'm a gamer, and he was interested in getting a PS5. Now, this was over the weekend, so this is before the price increase had been announced, obviously. But he was asking me about, I heard Xbox is buying Call of Duty, and you know, he's hearing about Game Pass, and this is what
the guy who's oblivious to like the gamer that's oblivious to everything that goes on.
He's not hardcore like the casuals. Most gamers are casuals. The majority of the money that Xbox or PlayStation, Nintendo makes are from casuals, regular people who don't follow any of this, right? So he comes to me and he says, and listen to the words I say, he says, I heard Xbox is buying Call of Duty. He didn't say they're buying Activision. He said they're buying Call of Duty. And that's what's going around. That Call of Duty is going to be on this other thing, Game Pass, you know, and the pricing is like a streaming service. People understand this is what regular people are seeing. It's and with this price increase, bro. Wow. MPDs. The next report of the MPDs, as soon as you know there's enough time for for this announcement to have its impact, you're definitely going to see it in the MPDs. You're definitely going to see that in the MPDs for sure.
Yeah. We got Poe. Did you see what he wrote? Scalper, Sony. Sony like
doing well.
Scalpers praise.
I have
praise,
that one.
Why can't we?
Hey, that's Sony, man. You know, all these PlayStation fanboys is always talking about
premium pay
product. They will pay premium. All right, then show and prove, homie.
I've seen some throughout the day today, and I'm not kidding. Whether they're trying to just play it off or trolling, whatever. Like, if they raise about an extra $100, I'll still buy it because it's a PlayStation 5. I was like, really, you'll just for the sake of spending an extra $100, you would spend an extra $100 just because it's a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
No. So you say. Yeah. Oh, it's only $10 for the game. It's nothing. I can afford. Oh, it's not. It's just another 15. Like it's just another X amount.
It's just this. It's just that. It's always never something major. It's always a minor issue. It's not.
And they accept it. Well, that's what's telling you. Like, dude, I stopped buying full price a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
Unless it's like the must have. Like for me, it would have been something like Titanfall.
Titanfall 2 in particular for me, like I bought it on PC like a week before they dropped the price. So I bought it at full price. But overall, I respect the game, so I'm not mad about it. But if it was a game I wasn't that hyped about, I would have felt a different type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like Halo, if I bought Halo late, I'm such a big Halo fan. Of course, I had to dig one. But let's say I wasn't, right?
Yeah. And
I bought Halo like a week before they dropped the price. I'm going to feel some type of way if I'm not that major into it. But this is just insulting, like wow, this has never happened before. And of course, as I always say, put the shoe on the other foot. Yet another thing. If this happened to Xbox, it would have already been over. This is like number 687. I don't know. Like since the year
Yeah.
before the generation began, you know, there were all these things happening. We didn't know about the price of the PlayStation. We were hearing about the chip, blah, blah, blah. And once again, when we talk about the chips, you know, TSMC, who manufactures the chips for both Xbox and PlayStation, they producing what's called 7 nanometer process. And it's high yield. That means over 95% of the chips that are produced are up to snuff or up to the level that they expected to be based on the design, right? So if the PlayStation 5, right, its chip was made by them on this same process that they use on the Xbox at 7 nanometers, where 95% of your chips are supposed to be good, and yet they're claiming like half their chips weren't good, that goes right back to the fact that they're overclocking the system. It was already being stretched to the max. And then they cut down the copper and the heat sink and all these things. This is why I always said that, yo, I'm waiting for a slim or a redesign or whatever, like a fixed version of the system. But at this point now, as much as I'm talking all this crap about the new DualShock, right, and the fact that the analogs are removable, which I don't care about now that we already have the technology, you know, Hall sensors.
What, the Pro controller?
Right, their Pro controller, whatever they're calling it. We don't even need those analogs to be removable anymore. They figured it out. You know, all the Chinese, you know, competitors to the Steam Deck, they have what's called Hall sensors. They're like magnetic, right? You know, for the analog sticks, and they're immune to drift as we know it.
You mean like the Elite controllers?
The Elite controllers don't have Hall sensors.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the removable, cap. Like you just take it off and then just slip it back on with the magnetic.
You can do that to the caps. Yes, you could also do that. But I'm saying you could take out the whole module.
Oh, okay.
And replace it, right? But you don't, and that would have been cool, but we don't need that anymore. We have analogs that work and don't have drift. So they're so behind the times. Like, and then I realized last night that I was saying it on the podcast. It's that the reason they don't use the Hall sensors that would fix a problem is because they want to sell you these analogs. So once again, they're screwing you over. But the point I'm making is, you know, I've always wanted, you know, I always said, you know, I'm waiting for like a redesign or a slim, or, you know, a fixed version of the system.
Yeah,
you know,
at this point, it's just better to wait.
Right? But even now, I don't even want that. I think I'm just going to get one of these new controllers and just rock their games on PC. The games are coming to PC.
Yeah.
I got a PC that's up to stuff. I got a 2070 Super. I'm going to get a 4080 as soon as they're available, right? So I have even less of a reason today.
Yeah, because I mean,
even less of a reason
add on the games you already own and you haven't played yet. Everything else you have on your wish list that you do want to buy, you're probably going to buy it, but not end up playing them yet. So that just adds on to your backlog.
Exactly.
So why get yourself a PlayStation 5 just so it could sit there and collect dust? The same thing with the games itself. There's like, okay, I'll buy it because, oh my God, it's $20. And like, okay, I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So if you got your PC, well, then it's already up to snuff. It's ready to go. You just need that controller and you're done.
Yep. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to investigate heavily on this controller because we have no details if they've, you know, increased the battery life. I can only assume they did. I can only assume they fixed the life issues, not of the battery, but of like the gears and stuff, like the controller would wear out pretty quickly. I can only imagine they've addressed these issues. And if they
I can see, I understand where people are complaining when the controllers are not functioning properly because of the haptic feedback stuff that's constantly moving. If you haven't felt one or used one,
I have.
Then you know already that it's just constantly running, just constant. I'm like, dude, these things are gonna break fast.
and they do. This is known. They break fast. But assuming they fix or address these issues, right?
Yeah.
And I can only
you can turn it off if you wanted to, but
I'm not the type to turn off Rumble. When people say they turn off Rumble because it's too, I don't like it. After a while, it gets invisible to me. I don't feel it anyway, right? But that's me. I can understand other people are not me and they have a different experience. Okay, fine, right? But I hear this talk all the time. Ever since the DualSense has been out, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I turn off vibration all the time." Nobody ever said that until the DualSense came out. So this is at the gaming community at large. I got smoke for. Y'all talk out your ass in general. But back to the topic, I'm just like, if this controller is cool, I'm gonna get that. and that's how I'm going to play PlayStation games.
You mean
at this point?
This controller?
Not that one, the new one, because I don't.
Oh, the Pro.
Right, I don't trust that controller. I don't trust that they've ever addressed the issues.
Did
and
they
have a black one.
Did they say the price
of the controller? No, I don't think they've said anything other than the features. There's a lot more they have to show and prove with that controller.
Okay.
They're supposed to have a showcase pretty soon, I believe.
Because depending on the price,
right?
If I can trade this one in at GameStop and give me good value for it, which I don't think they will.
I don't think either.
I want to see what the price is first before I decide that.
Right. And also they have black ones, and I want to get a black one. And I heard that they might have fixed the regular ones, but I don't know if there's any known way to know if it's one of the newer models that they've addressed these issues. Supposedly, I don't know. And plus I want a black one anyway, right?
Yeah, I like black.
Yeah, me too. So that's my favorite color. All black, everything, all the time.
Black.
Yeah. I couldn't live in Texas, bro. I couldn't do that with that sun out there. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for at this.
Black makes me look slim.
It's cheaper to buy a Lincoln Continental than a PS. Yeah, it truly is, and it's probably easier to find one, even with the part shortages and stuff. Probably easy to do that. But yeah, man, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not even going to get the system. I'm just gonna get the controller and call it a day. Sony, you done. And I always say this, no matter what podcast I'm on.
I mean, if you're a big tech head and a big gamer like you are, it's always nice to have the new console for each maker.
Right.
But now that we're in this situation, I mean, like for you, there's really no point, really.
They keep giving me a reason not to. I keep trying to find a reason to, and no. And Sony did contact me about, oh, it's your turn to buy a PS5 directly from us. And to my brother instead, I'm like,
buy one, please.
And then they did it a second time. I think I gave it to somebody else instead. So yeah, Sony, yeah, maybe I'll get one of the controllers, maybe. But you got a lot to show and prove with that. So,
And so, everybody's damage controlling here is like, oh, they got the chip shortage and the supply shortage and COVID. I'm like, okay, here we go, another COVID excuse, because I'm getting really tired of it, and people should say I shouldn't feel that way, but I do. So Microsoft responded real quick. They're not going to increase their prices. If anything, it may be lowered.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, a lot of podcasts, nobody wanted to say they don't think that Xbox will increase their price ever.
Until they came out and said it.
Right. Nobody said that. Everybody was like, they don't think it's going to happen, but they're not going to go out and say whole hog, and put the line in the sand that they're not going to do it. Dirt Griggity came back. And that's a sensible, smart thing to say, because you never can call out the future, right? You don't know what's going to happen.
No, they can go back 2 years from now and increase it. And I'm like, okay, well, they increased it.
Yeah.
But right now, this is what we're worried about now. We're concerned about what's going on right now.
Right.
And right now, they are not considering to raise the prices. And that's a good thing.
Right. And they made it clear for everybody. That just goes to show, people are
going to come back and like, well, what do they really mean they're not going to increase? It's like, well, it means it just means. It means they're not going to increase it. There's nothing to analyze or dissect. They say
none at all, but they're trying so hard, and the harder they try, the more obvious to everybody it is about what they're doing,
Yeah.
But on top of that too, like the pricing of the Series S, we discussed this in our Twitter DM, it's easy to find like the Series S with a bit of a discount of like $20, and apparently that had been happening for a long while before I even noticed it. I think it was after Boss or Fire Boss. I forget which one. I always confuse them in my mind.
Yeah, every now and then you'll see like a $20 or $50 discount.
Right. One of them showed me that was happening for months. It was happening at the beginning of the year, and I had no idea. I'm like, oh, really?
Sometimes you'll find it on Woot.
Yeah,
Woot will have it for like $50 less.
Mm-hmm. And that's the big thing. Today's announcement, like if it didn't validate the Series S to some people before.
Yeah,
like there is no question now. The Series S. I mean, it made sense when it was a rumor. Basically, it's the next gen Xbox, except the GPU is only good enough for like 1080p and
skip down a little bit,
40p when like the situation allows. And for a lot of people, don't have 4K TVs, or they're just a kid, or it's a secondary system, or a multitude of other reasons like that. It just made sense. Meanwhile, Sony, they got the diskless version, right, with no disk drive, but it's literally the same system, because when you take off the sides, you see where the drive would have been. It's the same motherboard and everything, right? Just like when they did that 1S without the drive, and then they opened it up and it was really just the same system without the drive in it, right? Same motherboard and everything. It was just a piece of metal, that metal cage that they have right around.
I think the button was still in there somewhere, but
the button was there and everything. Like the connection for the drive, if you can get a spare drive that matches that system and you plug it in, it probably would have worked. Stuff like that, right? But okay, so the PS5 without the drive, which is already on like a unicorn, it's unobtainium, right? It's there just to make the claim that they have a cheaper model system. Because a lot of PlayStation fans, when you bring up the Series S, then they want to talk about
they want to dismiss it and
right. But the way they do it is dismissing the Series S is by mentioning this PlayStation 5 without the drive, right? That you can't find anywhere. And the reason you can't find it anywhere, they make so few of them because to sell it at the price they do, the drive is only worth like $20. They're not saving that much money. In fact, they're losing money for each one of those systems that they sell. So that's why they never had a lot of them. But PlayStation fanboys would always bring that up. For $100 more, you get a full next gen system. Blah blah blah. Yet that's still not our DNA too. By the way,
do you see Sony with all this backlash that's going on and people talking, and let's just say a fiscal period ends and they notice like it didn't work out for them? Will they revert back to the original price? Or they're gonna stick to their guns and be like, we're gonna stick to this price, man, no matter what.
Hey man, this is what do you call Sony when they were with the PS3, what do you call arrogant Sony? This is arrogant Sony, okay?
I have an alt account called Arrogant Sony.
Oh, you do? Oh, you did that? I forgot to say, yes. This is arrogant Sony right now. They think they can do whatever because they have this army of fanboys that make excuses for them. But the irony is, and this is something I've always said, these fanboys have been their biggest enemy because they hyped up everything and made everything seem some kind of, or at least they try to present it as such. And it's not tricking everybody. It tricks some people, right? But now with these moves they make, it shows that these fanboys were Sony's biggest enemy. They never bought the games like they claimed they did. They never did any of the things they claimed they did. We see it in the numbers. We see it in the attack. We see it in everything. They never were backing up their big talk with actual money and purchases. And now they're increasing the price. Like that's never happened in the life of consoles ever. The video games industry is older than either one of us. This has never happened.
No, it's nuts. I don't think it's going to work out for them. If it does, well, I guess they bet on themselves and it worked out. But
it's going to work for them in the fact that they don't really have that many systems out there. So they're going to still sell all of them.
But like the casuals who make who make up most of their revenue and profits and so on and so forth. That kid's going to look like, well, I was short by $100, but now I'm short by $150, $200 now. I gotta mow some more lawns.
And then a lot of them are gonna break down and be like, you know what? F it. It's gonna Xbox. The parents who have to buy these consoles for Christmas and whatnot, they're not gonna do that, man. That's Series S. And let's not forget the Xbox All Access, right? We get the Series S, the Game Pass, and all of that. I tell that to parents all the time on holidays ever since they announced the Series S and that program. And a lot of parents have come back and thank me for that mention.
Well, because they already do that with their phones. Let's just do it for the console. It's no different.
And the codes they give you on Game Pass Ultimate, 3 months of this service, 3 months of that service. Like it's making money for Xbox and the services, because usually with these services, you know how it goes. If you have like 3 months, you're gonna forget to pay for it, and you stay on it. And then these services are making money. So now they're gonna.
I gotta put reminders for myself to cancel something if I need to cancel.
And a lot of people don't, right? So these services are making more money thanks to Microsoft. So they're gonna want to work with them more often.
And what I've seen and what irks me, and you probably seen this too, is when, and I see this a lot on Reddit, is when somebody with their Xbox account, they've had it for a long time, whether it be the Xbox One or the Series, and somehow they're complaining. It's like, man, I don't remember my account. And I'm like, what do you mean? You don't remember your ID, your email and password? Yeah. It's like, it's the same one you use for Outlook. Well, I don't remember. It's the same one you use for Xbox. Oh, I don't remember that. Say, how do you not remember your account? You know, it's like, it's your main account. How do you not remember that? You know?
Hey man, you saw the tweets that I put out. Was it yesterday or the day before?
So if you don't remember your account and you have it on auto renew, it's like, well, then that's the people Xbox is betting on, because you are the idiots.
And they're gonna get their money like that. And hey, that's how it is. But it's just business at play here, man. Damn, Sony. Yo, and Iraq is right, man. This is just a slaughter now. And it bears repeating. I always say this because this is just what it is. If the shoe was on the other foot,
oh man,
listen,
Xbox it will be nonstop. Every media outlet out there will have like 10 articles on the same day. And they will like constantly barrage us with, oh, check out Microsoft. They raised it. Oh my God. It's the end of Xbox and so on. They're so dead. Oh my God. It's already hard enough. They can't get, oh, what are they going to charge? It will be endless articles from each media outlet that's out there. And of course, the PlayStation fans will be praising it up and down because it's true. We've seen it many times happen that this is what they do. But when it's the other way around, like it is now, and it's been constantly like that, where it's just like Sony just shooting themselves in the foot, constantly like shooting all 10 toes, you know,
constantly.
And then of course, Sony's like, oh, Sony fans are like, oh man, you know, that's great. And like, it's like, dude, quit lying. I hate using the word cap. Quit capping. Okay.
That's what it is.
That's what they're doing. Right. It's like, it's okay to be against what they're doing, you know?
I mean, when it happened with Xbox Live, right? Everybody and their mama across the gaming community, it didn't matter what platform you was rocking, we all said with a united voice, like, this is not, and we broke down the reasons. Everybody was in agreement.
And they're like, we just kidding.
And they, in the middle of being on GRG, you know, Lord Cognito was there, bro, and he was speaking to K-Mega, and I'm like, breaking news, and K-Mega, you know, I could be interrupting asshole, you know, from time to time, you know, as I do. So I'm like, he was kind of mad. I'm like, bro, this is worth the interruption, and then to let them know that they reversed their decision because Microsoft was listening. I don't see Sony doing this. I mean, there's a small chance that by the end of the day this could happen, right? But I don't see it. This is something that Sony is. This is part and parcel of the moves they've been making for the past couple of years, where they're nickel and diming people left and right. And there's another thing. Speaking of K-Mega, he put up a post about, and it was something from 2016, but it just goes to show, because at first people didn't even realize.
Oh, was it about that the price hike of PSN? Yeah,
right, from 2016.
And I like in our group chat, I was like, but that's a 2016 article.
Right, but that's the point. Like, we didn't even remember or notice when they increased the price. People didn't even really have anything to say when they started charging for PSN, because in case y'all forgot, that used to be free on PS3. When PS4 came out, they just started charging for it, and nobody questioned it except for Xbox fans. But we were already in our own problem, so nobody was listening.
We're already paying since the original Xbox.
So
it's nothing new to us.
Right, but they weren't trying to listen to us because we were going through our own dramas with the Xbox One. So of course nobody's going to want to hear that, even though that was super true. So now when they had this price increase, you know, 6 years ago, right, it just went unregarded, basically forgotten. So when he put the post up, people didn't even realize the point he was making. It was like they did it, y'all didn't even notice. And at first he posted it and nobody noticed that very first. It took a couple of minutes. Usually the internet is like that, fast. Right? No, there was a bit of a delay this time. Even I, for like 2 minutes, I'm like, wait a minute.
Even for K-Mega, it like really took off really slow.
Right.
His
And
stuff usually
then-
takes off.
Right. And then everybody started realizing, I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen a while ago. Oh yeah. We really didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we really did give them a pass like it was nothing. But then when it happened to Xbox,
Oh no.
here, oh no, but
Oh,
Sony
no.
did it before, and even when that whole thing was happening when I was on GRG and Cognito was there, even I didn't remember to bring that up because that would have been a talking point. Because my talking point was I'm on Game Pass Ultimate. I don't really care. Me personally, for me, this doesn't affect me, but this is still not a good thing. I wish Microsoft would not do this. It's really a bad look, especially for all the great positive press they were getting for all the good moves that they were doing. It looked bad, but they quickly reversed it, and that looked good, right? Because they proved that they were listening to us, the gamers. Right?
Welcome, well connected. How much is the PS5 now? It's still $499 and $399.
Yeah,
here in the US.
Here in the US,
there's no changes in the USA. So
right. So most countries, Australia, Europe.
Let me put it up.
They got that price increase.
Let's see if I can increase it so these guys can see it. Well, let me put the
Mexico, Canada, Australia, China, Japan. Although Japan is beginning September 15th. I wonder why. Well, I'll get to that in a second. And of course, Europe and the UK, right? Yeah. Why aren't they doing this in America? Well, because they're neck and neck with Xbox in America. I hear that their lead is only by 100,000 systems, which is probably going to get eroded within the next 3 months anyway with these moves, right? And in
with the holiday.
There, by that point, that's when Microsoft will start taking a lead in America, I believe, right? But in Japan, it's effective beginning September 15th. So what's going to happen? You already know there's already a mad rush for PS5s right now in Japan, if any are even left, right? They're all going to be bought out at the old price.
These prices are affecting me. I didn't even catch that.
They're all immediately except for Japan.
Except for Japan, yeah.
And that's why I'm bringing up the fact that they're not doing this in America and they're delaying it in Japan. They can't do it in America because if they did that here, it would be a wrap. That's definitely the death knell, right?
Yeah.
But
what's up, 100?
They're really close in America. I'm hearing it's like about 100,000 consoles.
Yeah, they're pretty much neck and neck.
So if they did this, they were going to lose that immediately, even though they're going to lose that within 3 months anyway now, right? Yeah. But in Japan, one of their last strongholds, now they're going to start to lose that like slowly, right? Because the PlayStation, well, the Japanese are starting to look at the situation and we discuss this on DMs all the time. We know we follow Japan Twitter and what the gamers are saying over there. We follow lots of accounts. I forget which one of the bosses. If it's Fireboss.
Yeah, Fireboss. He follows a lot of people.
And he knows Japan and he knows Japanese and stuff like that. So he knows what to do with that, right? And he provides.
He knows Japanese?
Huh? I believe he knows Japanese. I believe he lived there for a while or something. So he's able to, to be able to look through Twitter, more effectively.
Real quick, yeah.
And thankfully, Twitter has that translate button. So
yeah, it does.
I retweet a lot of these, tweets that he finds or other people say, right? Like Xbox is dopeness. That's that one account. It's a Japanese person. Xbox is dopeness. That's not the name of the account, but that's like the title. So you search that, you'll find that. And this person retweets what the Japanese people are saying about the gaming situation, right? Yeah. And a lot of them it's starting to be a slow thing. So that's why it's not effective immediately in Japan like that. That's another one of their territories, let's say, where it's better for them than in Europe and stuff. Because in Europe, they're winning. UK, they're winning. Mexico, but clearly, right? That's been a territory of theirs that even in America when they're losing, Europe can often make it up for them, or at least get them within closest, right?
Yeah.
But and in fact, that's how they clawed back with the PS3, right? It happened in Europe. It didn't really happen here. It happened in Europe and elsewhere. So
I'm doing a little conversion on Mexico because I know what their currency rate is, or approximate, and their new price is 15,000 pesos. And that is around $750 for the disc version. The discless, let me just do 12,000. What are pesos?
I wonder what it was like before.
625.
625 ain't, well, no. Okay.
625 for the diskless.
Oh, no, that's not good. See, if it was like that before for the version with the drive, that's okay, you know, of a price, you know, before the price increase. But now,
and that's just south of the border, man.
Yeah, man.
God.
South of the border, you know, all these, you know, what do they call them? Coyotes or something, like the people who get
Coyotes.
Yeah, the people who get the people across the border. Yo,
smugglers. You mean like Han
know,
Solos?
Right. So you know, on the return trip.
Oh yeah.
They gotta do like a twofer. You know, they bring people up, bring PlayStations down, bring people up, bring PlayStations down.
I'll tell you this, man.
Boy, if I was with them, I'd be doing that.
What was it before? Was it before COVID? I was after COVID. I think it was during COVID. I went to Mexico, and on the way back, it was on the way back. There were about a bundle of kids there, teenagers or so, and they were with chaperones and everything. And I think about 4 or 5 of them had PlayStations with them, brand new, from Mexico, and they were flying back here to Texas.
Wow.
And I asked them, it's like, so what's the deal with this? Like, is that something you guys just brought with you for the trip, or is it something you bought in Mexico and you happen to just bring it back with you? And they're like, oh, we found them over there. There's tons in Mexico. There's none here in the U.S. It's like, yeah, I know there's none here. I was like, well, that's nice. Well,
it's about to be a reverse situation.
Well, yeah, because I think it was about the same price, around the same price, but now it's not.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's immediate, like right now. It's like, we're going to do it right now. Not even a warning, you know, except for Japan, who gets a few more days, you know.
Yeah, but you know, the other thing about that is, this is the type of situation that normally it would happen on a Friday, you know?
Yeah.
So that way
everybody's back at the home and they don't have to hear it at the office.
Right. And it blows
how crappy this sounds.
Right. But they didn't do like, wow, Sony, you couldn't even do the bad news. Even Microsoft knew to announce the Xbox Live thing on Friday. Like, any way you look at this is bad for Sony. I don't see any positive. Like,
no,
the system.
And you know, I can have a Sony fan. I want a Sony fan to jump on with me, not to clown or anything. Like, have a real discussion.
Objective.
And it's like, you know, it's like, are you really going to defend these actions that they're doing? I was like, you know, fanboy aside, joking aside, let's be somewhat serious this time. And I want to hear a true conversation with somebody who thinks this is okay.
I don't know anybody who thinks this is okay. You know, there's the ones, you know, of course you want to talk. Okay, let me say it a different way. I don't know anybody who thinks this is okay, who's not an out and out PlayStation fanboy who's making excuses on all the bullshit, right? I don't know anybody like that. But what I do know is a couple of PlayStation fans, right, who agree this is not a good move, but they all already have a system.
Yeah. Well, they already have it.
That I know.
Who, the MB bad guy?
No, it was
you can name him.
Artemis is one of them. I can name off that. He definitely doesn't think this is a good idea. But and by the way, he has one of the PlayStations without the drive, and he says it all the time. It's like unobtainium. You can't find them anywhere. It was like a miracle that he got one, according to him. So he's the only PlayStation fan that I could say objectively is like, nah, this is a bad move.
Well, there needs to be more of that type of person out there, and it to go against the grain. You know, it's okay to not approve what Sony's doing. You know, nobody's gonna. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna get backlash, but they're just, you know, you don't need those type of people in your circle who are gonna go, like, if you see Sony make a move like this and you say, no, that's as a Sony fan, that's bad. Then all your other Sony friends will be like, no, what are you talking about? This is great. It's like, no, it's not.
And game developers gotta be looking like, you know, like, is it worth it taking this PlayStation money now? Right? Is it worth it keeping their games off of Xbox because they take that money from Sony? Is it worth it? Right? Even if they, you know, before it was, it made some kind of financial sense for them, right? I really don't see how, but okay. But apparently a lot of them were doing it, so it must have somehow for them, right? Yeah. What are they thinking now?
Yeah.
This could be whole situation like what do you call that? The snowball goes down the hill and gets bigger and bigger. This could be a whole avalanche type situation for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, I could be that douchebag that says, well, I already got my system. I don't care. You know? But you know, you want more people in your ecosystem. You want people to buy them. You want them to be able to afford to buy them. And I was like, what? It went up $50. It went up $100. You know.
All that's going to happen is the current systems they have in America and in Japan, especially if it didn't already happen today already, will all get sold out at the old price, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Because even here in America, PlayStation fans have got to be wary, like, yo, is that going to happen here in America soon? And so Sony's going to have a little uptick of profits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the MPD for next month might be good for them. I don't know, but after
they'll announce some huge like profit, record-breaking profits.
Right.
Like, oh my god,
Sony like, just it's all good, right? But it's really not.
It's like at the expense of, you know, these price hikes,
right?
You know,
so. Exactly. So they'll pretend like it's all good when it's really not. It's just a temporary, you know, impact of the decision. But this decision has long-term effects, not short-term. Short-term, it likely will look good because they're going to sell every system they have at the old price, and so that's going to look real nice for that 1 month. And then after that, it's all they're screwed. That's not good at all. I can only imagine what they were thinking. Did they really believe in their heart of hearts this was good, or are they just really
look at everything else they've been doing lately?
And they've been doing it for years too. That's what I think too.
Yeah.
This has really been their mindset to nickel and dime all along. Every move that they've made in the past couple of years, it all comes back to that mindset. I don't see it any other way. I've thought about it all day. I'm like, really? Why are they doing all these stupid things? They would be way better off if they didn't make any of these moves that they've made.
Yeah.
You know?
It's nuts. It's crazy. But well, that's all I got today, man. I gotta get on this kid's homework stuff, so I need to go back and pay attention.
You gotta be Mr. Awesome Dad.
Yeah, I gotta go back in dad mode and get this 11-year-old on his homework. So
no doubt.
If not, he's just gonna goof off. So well, thank you for coming on board and in short notice. We did
thanks for having me.
A special edition today because of this hot news that's happening with Sony. And the PSVR 2 is going to be expensive. I'm pretty sure it will be.
Oh yeah, now I'm definitely thinking it's going to be $499. Like I didn't think that before, but after what happened with the Quest, right? Yeah, and now the system, definitely. But on top of that, because the other thing I was thinking, I just want to make this point real quick, was that they didn't have to have that box and the camera and all this stuff with this new version. It's just a headset. It's like a Quest, it's built in, so it doesn't need something to track it. It doesn't need all this other. It didn't need an external box to handle the sound and all that stuff. Like the PS5 will be powerful enough to handle it all by itself. So just USB cable, right?
That's good,
right? So I thought that would help to bring the price way lower in comparison to what the original was. But now what happened with the Quest? Yeah, that's out the window now. Now I think $499 for sure. That's my opinion on that. They're screwed.
It's to meet my nuts. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you, Sick. Thank you, Chatterbox, for coming in and watching us. And I guess Legal's going to do something tonight. Did he say?
Yeah, supposedly we're supposed to do something tonight.
Well, I guess he'll send out the signal if he is. So I'll leave it up to him. So
Yes.
Poe, thank you.
Thanks for coming out,
KTJ, thank you. E-Rock, if you're still there, thank you. And everybody else who I didn't name, thank you for watching. Good night.
Peace.